We got a quorum, 3. We got a quorum.
We need to get Suzanne to start the recording.
Good job. Congratulations.
Thanks, yeah. We had a good hunt. As far as I was, we were in this rock bottom.
Maureen, you're ready, aren't you?
Three.
Okay, we're going to go back to reports. The first one is application amendment. Maureen, Hullinger.
Yeah. Mr. Chairman, would you like me to wait for Suzanne in the recording?
Yeah, we probably better, but
I don't want to have to say it twice.
it's 2:30. Let the record show we started at 2:30.
The records.
Somebody go get her? Huh?
There is no record.
I'm going to tell her the record. I like to start on time if possible. Right, Corey?
Well,
Yes, sir.
People expect it. You know the county board will. You're late.
what I do? Oh.
I kind of know how to run the thing, but I'm not willing to touch her equipment.
You don't have a secretary.
I touched something wrong and she'd be after my hide, so.
For a minute, I thought we said it started at 2:30. We got the room all night, so we can get on.
The night we had I didn't have it.
You know how to start the recorder? No.
There's right behind me.
Even if I'd have had something.
Push the button.
It wouldn't have come well. But, oh, yeah.
No, I'm training for next time.
Are we running? Are we running?
Yes. Yes.
Let the record show I started the meeting at 2:30.
2 minutes late.
And I called on next item on the agenda, application amendment. Maureen Hullinger.
For the record, Maureen Hullinger from Nevada Department of Wildlife License Office. I'm here to just give an update on the status of CGR 380, which is the application amendment regulation that we've been asked to draft. At the August Commission meeting, Chief Bob Hoyen presented several options. At that time, we were directed to go forward with option 6 to draft the language from that. Option 6 included language to allow an electronic application to be withdrawn and to submit a new application before the deadline, to allow an application to be withdrawn after the deadline and allow an application to be submitted for a bonus point only within 7 days after that deadline. And then if an applicant failed to submit an application at all by the deadline, they had an opportunity to submit an application within 7 days from the deadline. We also provided information about the current regulation, which allows a person to withdraw an application with a request in writing before the draw. It also, the current regulation does not allow a rejected application to be withdrawn. So those were all presented then at that meeting. We came away with the task to draft the language for option 6. I worked on that in mid-October. I submitted the draft language to LCB, and then I also requested an estimate from systems consultants in regards to the draft language. In the early part of November, we did, law enforcement received back through the mail the draft language from LCB, and in reviewing it, they did miss some of the intent. What they missed was the option in regards to someone who just totally missed submitting an application. That wasn't in their draft. So I had to resubmit for that. I have not resubmitted the new language yet at this point, but I'm going to have to include that back in there. I did talk to LCB. I went over it with Randy Stevenson, and he said that they did miss that intent, so I would have to resubmit the language for that. And during that time frame where we were waiting for the language and systems consultants was working on the estimate, they brought forward a concern in regards to our current language. And right now, we don't allow a rejected application to be withdrawn. They had concerns with that in regards to their estimate, because it would increase their estimate if we had to follow through with that. I said, go forward with your estimate to not include rejected applications in your estimate, and that I would present language amending that language out so that the estimate would be at a lower programming cost. And it also affects the timing. If they have to wait for the status on the reject to appear, that means online you would submit it, it wouldn't come back, you wouldn't be able to withdraw it quickly because it'd have to go out to the live file, get posted, and then posted back, so they wouldn't be able to fix it as quickly. So it does dramatically affect their programming estimate. So I gave them the direction to go forward with the estimate without rejected applications. So at this point, I'm going to have to resubmit to LCB the language changes, which means it starts the 30-day clock again. So it affects our calendar. So I could have language back for the February commission meeting, but for implementation for 2010, we still have that subsequent meeting with the Legislative Commission for approval. So implementation won't be for 2010, even if I present it at the February commission meeting. So that's where we're at on that particular regulation, CGR 380. And the programming costs that systems consultants provided for this particular draft language is $12,250. And if this is approved at the when we can get it back, because we can't even put it on an agenda until we have the language back from LCB. If it's approved, we might have implementation for fall turkey, depending on timing, and then next year's big game from there. But I can't project into the future because it's all based now on when the language comes back again. So that's my status update on that one. So
when's the deadline for implementing it in 210? Because the Legislative Commission, you got to get it 30 days prior, don't you, on their agenda?
Right. Well, right now, because they didn't meet our intent, I have to submit the change language, which starts their clock.
We can have it in February. Let's say we vote on it in February. That's the earliest we can vote on. That's our next meeting.
Yeah, if I have.
Couldn't we still get it in time before we set the for 2010?
Because I have to. It's not truly approved until the legislative subcommission, the commission's subcommittee on regulations approves it. We don't know when they're going to meet after our February commission meeting.
But if they did meet, there's a chance we could do it, as long as we
then go into the programming phase, and the application period's already open in March, mid-March. So it's not going to be in place for the application period. So even if I make the February commission meeting, so.
That's it.
Okay.
But we can announce it maybe, huh?
It'll be available, once we workshop, it'll be out for public review, when we bring it forward and all of that. So implementation, I don't know, once you go to the programming phase, once the programming's in place, we have to test it before we implement. So I'm looking at fall turkey.
Do you have a time on programming? How long does the programming?
I don't have that with me, and I don't know if Don could speak to the time on how long it would for the programming.
It's probably about 6 weeks of elapsed time.
Thank you. That is kind of pretty close.
Yeah.
But if we could get it for turkey, it'd be something.
Well, and that's if they come back with the language and don't mess up with the intent again. I mean, that's the biggest concern right there. So,
have any questions of Maureen on that? We voted for option 6. Everyone remembers. Okay. Thank you, Maureen.
You're welcome.